Hello everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr, and today we are going to be looking at a Flemish red brown ale. Now I get a lot of requests, especially when I send out my surveys and I ask you guys, hey, what kind of beers do you want to see reviewed? Unquestionably, I always get a lot of people saying, hey, review more sour beers. So that's what I'm going to do for you today. I've got a beer that's called the Rodenbach Grand Cru. And this, again, like I said, is a Flanders red brown ale. It clocks in at 6%. And right here on the front of the label, it calls out the fact that this beer is 33% quote-unquote young ale, and then 67% ale that's matured for 2 years, and it's aged in oak vats. So not even oak barrels. In fact, if you look at the front of the bottle here, you can see these big, huge oak vats that this beer, sits in for 2 years. So 2 years is a really good amount of time, and I would imagine that that's part of the reason why they kind of dummy it up a little bit with the, just the young ale that they put in there. Because I think really, if this were 100% aged in oak for 2 years, I think you would really kind of get, I guess maybe too much oak. So one of the things that I found to be kind of interesting about Rodenbach as well is that they've actually provided some of their yeast strains to neighboring breweries. And one of those, or actually I'll call out two that I know you're familiar with. One is West Vleteren, so the folks who make the Westy 12s and 10s. Or I don't even think they make a 10. I don't know. I've never had one, so I'm kind of clueless. I think maybe it's a, what is it, a 12? Who gives a shit? Anyway, so they supply the yeast for West Vleteren. They also supply some yeast strains for Daedala, which we looked at, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. So anyway, really interesting brewery, and looking forward to trying this one. I'm expecting it to be very sour, probably along the lines of a Duchess de Bourgogne. Maybe even a Lost Abbey Red Poppy, something along those lines. So, well, let's go ahead and dig into it and see what's going on. Well, the color is exactly like I thought it would be. It's got this really deep red mahogany color. It's actually very, very beautiful. Not exactly clear, but it's been filtered quite a bit. There's no haze to it. I think it's just really kind of approaching a good level of like dark brown, but it's clearly ruby red, red mahogany. The head color on it is, pretty much exactly like you would think. And I'll just let you know right now, I can already smell this, so it's really kind of, pushing its way up out of the glass. And I think just from the aroma alone, I can pretty much guess what this beer is going to taste like. And my mouth is already starting to water. But let's go ahead and smell it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm getting a lot of that vinegary quality that you get from a lot of these Flemish reds. There's some sour apple in there, definitely some tart cherry going on. I do get the oak, which is fairly obvious. Now it doesn't put off a vanilla character like you might get, from a lot of beers that are aged in oak, but I really do smell oak by itself. There's maybe even a little bit of like a grape bubblegum component in there, mixed with just a little bit of caramel. So the malts that they use in this really kind of give it a little bit of a sweetness in the nose. Don't get me wrong, it's mainly tart, but there is a little bit of sweetness that I'm detecting on the nose. Anyway, let's go ahead and drink it. Woo! Okay, so yeah, that's, it tastes exactly like I thought it would, which is really good. It's got that, green apple, tart sour cherry mixed with, loads and loads of red wine vinegar. I always call out red wine vinegar on these. People will always say, oh, it has a vinegary taste. And yeah, that's true, but it really tastes like red wine vinegar. But yeah, You know, I really like this beer. It's exactly what I was wanting today. I just got done mowing the yard for, you know, probably one of the last times this year, and I really wanted something refreshing. This isn't refreshing, you know, like a farmhouse ale or a lager, or even a, you know, a lighter IPA. But it's really got this nice effervescence and a dryness. It's kind of cleansing on your palate, and I really like that. So really an enjoyable beer. If you've had some of the other beers like you know, Lost Abbey's Red Poppy or the Duchess de Bourgogne, chances are you're really going to like this beer. So, well, anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Why don't you go ahead and join me next week on Monday. Not sure what brewery I'll be featuring yet, but I'll get working on that after I shut off the camera here. So, well, thanks a lot for coming back. You know, I know it's been probably a week or so, but thanks for kind of hanging in there with the website for me for a little bit. I'm going to try to get something figured out for the future, but for right now, the green side it is. So anyway, well, thanks a lot for coming back. Cheers.